So I finally saw Star Wars. Twice now. So far. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's me, Izzy. I need to buy a few more Star Wars action figures, Nobri, and this is the Izzy Nobri Show. I still have some space down there. Okay, so obviously I saw Star Wars on day 1. Then I went and saw it again 2 days later today, and holy shit, JJ, you knocked it out of the park. Now, that's not to say there's not a few things that I didn't like about the movie, and we're gonna get into that, but after 3 horrible prequel movies, this felt amazing. So let's just talk about a little bit of the movie without giving much away, and I'm going to let you know once we're gonna cross into spoiler territory, so you can close this window if you haven't seen the movie yet. Which, by the way, why haven't you? Do you not want to help this movie break the all-time box office record? Okay, so a few things I need to point out. First of all, getting back into that universe. Now, I guess I don't need to tell you, I am a huge Star Wars nerd. I watched it first when I was a kid. I must have been 7 or 8. I got completely hooked into the series, and it's always been a connection link between myself and my brother. We would play lightsaber battles with brooms and up our fingers in the process, because you know how it was, if you pretend that you were a Jedi master fighting with brooms, you know that they had a tendency of like hitting and then they slid down and fucked up your fingers. If you're anything like me, you know that pain. Anyway, it was amazing. It was amazing to see the Star Wars logo with that overwhelming John Williams score. It was incredible. It really was incredible. I don't think I'll ever have a movie-going experience quite like that. The movie theater that I was in when the Star Wars logo came out, I thought it was gonna come down. People were jumping and hollering. It was fucking insane. I'm convinced, I don't think I'll ever see something like that again in my life, honestly. Even when the new Star Wars movie comes out and it's due out in 2 years, I think because it's not as long a wait, right? Like we waited since 2005, that was when Revenge of the Sith came out. So that 10-year wait, it really made the return of Star Wars feel very epic. I'm not sure if that's gonna repeat itself in 2 years when the new movie comes out. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The pacing of the movie was excellent. There was a lot of action and a lot of universe building, a lot of filling in the gaps of what happened between the events of Return of the Jedi and the events of The Force Awakens. The humor was absolutely great. Now, I was not expecting to see that many jokes in a Star Wars movie, and there's really no reason for me not to expect that, because there were quite a few jokes in the original trilogy and a lot of lame jokes too. I'm not sure if I've seen the movies recently again, and there's a moment where Leia calls Han Solo laser brain, and then Chewie laughs as though that's supposed to be like a very funny jab, and it just comes across very awkward and silly sounding. Some of the scenes had the theater just pissing their pants laughing. You guys know the one, right? Like, you know what I mean, right? You laughed at that one too. I'm sure you did. Now, what I didn't like about the movie, it's really just 2 main things. One is that the characters, there's a few characters that felt very underused. And characters that I thought from seeing the previews, from seeing everything that they put out about the movie, I thought these characters would play a much larger role, and obviously they're saving them for the next movie, and I'm fine with that. It was just a little disappointing to not see those guys doing all that I thought they were going to do. And as always, expectations are a bitch. Right? The other problem I had with the movie, and this is something that really only the true uber geeks are going to have an issue with, is that for many years, for really decades now, I was very used to the expanded universe from the games, from the movies, from the comic books. So for too long, that was the Star Wars lore that I was used to. When Disney announced that they're not going to use any of that stuff, and they're just going to focus on a completely new story, on one hand, I was like, okay, cool, that's going to surprise me. But on the other hand, the whole time I was watching the movie, at least the first time, I couldn't shake this feeling that I was watching a fan film. Like, this is not the actual Star Wars lore. Like the Thrawn trilogy, right, Heir to the Empire, that is what really happened with these guys. This that I'm seeing is like, it's the weirdest thing, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this is not for real, if that makes any sense. Now, we really gotta get into spoiler territory here, because there's only so much I can say about the movie without giving a lot away, so spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen the movie yet, and I really don't know why you wouldn't have seen the movie yet, but close this window, mute this, do something, kick your computer, throw it out the window. Don't go any further than this, okay? It's gonna ruin the movie for you. I mean, You don't want to have these details spoiled, just trust me. First thing I really didn't like, and going back to the whole thing about underused characters. Luke Skywalker. He didn't really show up in any of the trailers, and there's all these theories as to why they were hiding him. Turns out the reason they're hiding him is because they had no scenes to show him, because he's in the movie for maybe, what, 30 seconds, I think? If you think about it, Luke had more screen time in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, than he had in The Force Awakens. That's kind of fucked up. And this is why it was kind of ruined for me, because they told us right off the bat that Luke was going to be in this movie. If they had not announced that the actor had been brought back to reprise his role, if it came out of, like, totally out of left field. Like, I'll give you an example. Remember when Samuel L. Jackson shows up at the end of Iron Man? You didn't know Sam Jackson was going to be in that movie. Nobody announced anything. You weren't expecting at all. So when he shows up, it makes the surprise just better. It's an actual surprise. When Luke shows up in the end, I'm like, what the f***? Where is this guy? It's not a surprise. It's like when somebody shows up 2 hours late to your party. So it's just, I was more annoyed than surprised. Han Solo died. Bummer. Some ass had spoiled that for me, so it wasn't a surprise, so I feel like I was really cheated out of that experience. Kinda sucks, but lots of assholes. Lots of assholes on the internet. What are you gonna do? You know what's funny? The guy spoiled the movie for me because I wrote an article he didn't like. How crazy is that? He posted a whole bunch of comments on my website, and one of them was this huge spoiler, right? Like the death of Han Solo. What a jackass. That's what you get from having an audience on the internet. Like 99% of people are awesome, and then there's that 1% that just makes you regret even doing all of this. A little bit though. Just a little bit. Overall though, amazing flick. I mean, I went to see it twice, so I guess that says everything. I think JJ really knocked it out of the park. It would have been very, very easy to f this up. This is a franchise that people love to bits, and people feel this sense of propriety over. Somebody f***s these things up, the nerds feel like we're owed an apology for that because this is our shit, right? Great flick, J.J. Abrams, for my money, has proven himself an amazing director, like right up there with the greats. Anyway, I might even go see it a third time. I never seen a movie more than twice in the theater, and definitely never seen a movie twice in the theater because I really wanted to go see it. It's always a situation where I saw it with a group of friends, and then another group of friends wants to go see it again, and because I want to hang out, I just kind of tag along, or I see a movie with friends, and then my wife wants to see it, so I have to go see it again with her. This is the first time ever that I see a movie, then I just go out of my way to see it again by myself. I went by myself. That's saying something. Anyway, I want to know in the comments below what you think. Tell me what you liked about the movie. Tell me what you didn't like about the movie, and tell me what your expectations are. There's a lot of unanswered questions. We all know that Rey is Luke Skywalker's daughter, right? Like that's pretty obvious, right? And it's pretty obvious that he's gonna train her. I suspect that Kylo Ren is gonna end up becoming like a more proper Sith Lord and is gonna train his own Sith Padawan. I think that's what's gonna end up happening here. But let me know in the comments what you think. And that's all the time we have for today. I'm Izzy, and I'm done. You know what sucks? So, and this is why I don't buy shit online, okay? This is why I don't buy shit online. My wife bought me this little guy here. This is the Sphero BB-8. It's a little droid that you control with your smartphone, right? Works just like the one in the movie, or close enough to the one in the movie for $150. And really cool, this is bound to be like one of the hottest Christmas toys in this this year. The thing is, she bought it for me, and I was so excited for the movie that she allowed me, this is one of my Christmas gifts, so she allowed me to open it early because she saw how excited I was, like an 8-year-old again. So I played with it for like 5 minutes. The battery died because that's how these things usually, they don't come with a full charge out of the box. I'm like, okay, I got to kind of see what it does. When I put it to charge, guess what? They send me a dud. This thing doesn't work anymore. It doesn't charge anymore. So I already got into contact with their customer service, but obviously it's gonna take me forever. I have to ship it back and this whole hassle. So not impressed, Sphero. Not impressed. How do you even pronounce their name? Is Sphero? Give me a new one! And if you thought I was kidding about buying more Star Wars toys, oh yeah.